welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So, yeah, I'm back in my daily driver, cruising down the interstate, and there may or may not be a trailer attached to the back of me because I may or may not have made another poor financial decision. So, currently headed down to the Tennessee-Alabama state line to pick up a truck. And I'll tell y'all more about it whenever we get there. But it was a little estate auction that I stumbled across, and I was bidding on a couple, 3 different trucks, and only won, which is probably a good thing because frankly I'm already out of storage space for vehicles, and well, I'm adding one more to the mix. So yeah, it's probably a good thing I got outbid on the other 2, but I'm pretty tickled about this one. So I'm gonna get driving. I got about another half hour or so worth of driving to do, and then I'll be down there. So I'll check back in with y'all once I get there and show you what I got. All right, hopefully y'all guys can hear me. I forgot my damn camera, so I'm using my cell phone. But yeah, they were loading up trucks and cars and engines and just all sorts of stuff as quickly as they possibly could. So so I didn't have a whole lot of time to basically walk around this thing. Yeah, and it was very fortunate they had a skid steer out there that was doing all the loading, because I was looking to have to load this damn thing with a come-along winch, and it's a little sketch. I lied. It's a lot sketch. So here's the truck. So this here is a 1986, obviously GMC Sierra. It is a 3500. Of course, it's a dually, regular cab, long bed, you know, all the stuff. So I checked on U-Haul. You can fit a 8-foot bed, you know, long wheelbase C10 on here. I may or may not have checked the C10 mark instead of the C30 mark, but yeah, the old dually wheels, you know, I suppose I could have taken that back one off, or the outside wheel off, and maybe made it a little bit better, actually sit on the trailer. But yeah, I didn't do that. Plus, like I said, they were in a hurry, man. Those guys were moving stuff fast. But luckily, it's all here. You know, the truck is not in the best shape in the world, but it's not terrible. Yeah, buddy. Manual transmission. Good old 4-speed. Driver's window's busted out. That vent window is laying right here. I do have a vent window, or a couple of them, floating around the house. So I do have the pieces of parts, but originally, you can kind of see, originally this truck was white. Sorry, I stopped at the rest stop because I was like, I want to go ahead and go through this thing. So yeah, originally this truck was white. They reshot it red, which they did an okay job. I mean, at least they painted the bottom half of the dash. They didn't hit the A-pillar or the inside of the roof, or the back side of the cab behind the seat. But it's also got, you know, I am not a fan of red interior. I don't care for it. Yeah, of course it's red. It's that burgundy color. But it's got this rug, and it's also got the rubber mat. I pulled it up on this side. There's a little surface rust. I didn't see any real rot down here. But yeah, it looks to be pretty solid. The rockers are pretty good. I got a little, yeah, there's a little going on here in this cab corner. You know, that can all be fixed. But I mean, rockers pretty solid. Lower part of the fender's pretty solid. Doors are in pretty good shape. Yeah, a little extra firm on the thing. Apparently had the big mirrors, kind of like what Big John has. So it's got the holes, and that one up here is rusty. But I dig the pinstriping on these. So yeah, it's a cool truck. It's a really cool truck. You can see some of the paint flaking off on the inside of the bed down here. Dually bed fenders. That's had, you know, things happen. So this is fixable. This is entirely fixable. Basically, we'll sit there and reinforce this, and we'll patch it up with some fiberglass, and that'll be good as new. Back here, it's not bad. It's got a crack. This one support's not actually bolted anywhere. There's some Bondo. Yeah, right there. A little bit of Bondo. A little bit of Bondo down here in this lower part, but they all send to rust right here, and you can see it's got Bondo plumb up into here. No big deal. It's got a really good tailgate, and that I'm tickled about, because trying to find one of these factory style tailgates is a pain in the butt. This side looks like that bulb might have got a little hot, because that is the lens. That's cool. I think I actually have an extra, I think I have another tail light, but again, more rust down here. This bedside, just like on Big John, is in pretty good shape. There's not really anything wrong with it. There's a little hole down there, a little crack, but nothing major. Again, just a little soft in the cab corner here. just a little bit. Wait, yeah, just a little soft. But rocker looks good. Fenders look good. It is obviously it's a 4-speed. It's got a 14-bolt rear end on it, which is nice. Much easier and lighter. They're much easier to get parts for, and they're definitely lighter than the Dana 70 like I got in Big John. Hang on, let me get in this truck so I can, make it a little bit quieter. So yeah, this is it's a pretty good little buy for what I paid for it. I mean, it was a little spendy, but it wasn't terrible for what it is. But yeah, it's a 350 truck, so it's a small block, 4-speed. It's got the 14-bolt. It's a regular cab, so this one I may have to call Lil John.
What?
This one I may have to call Lil John.
Okay.
So we got Big John, now I got Lil John.
Yeah.
Does anybody remember if Little John's Bloods or Crips? Because he might not like having a red truck named after him, depending on which side of the fence he falls. So, but anyways, this is it's a pretty cool truck. So I got it's almost an hour ride home from where I'm at now. It's probably gonna be longer than that, because just like I said, I got on the interstate and came to a rest stop. It was like a 1.5 miles up the interstate. A little sketchy on the drive. So half-ton truck, U-Haul trailer with a 1-ton dually hanging off the ass of it is probably not recommended. I got it to about 60, and it started the ass end started kind of wagging on me a little bit. So I was like, so we want to go around 50, and that works. But I got some pretty good size, the foothills of Appalachia coming up here just a little bit on 65 headed northbound. So I think it's like 3.5, 4 miles up the road. I can jump off the interstate, and I can take some back roads up back towards the house. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because then I don't feel so bad about going slower. Now granted, some of these are old country 2-lane, or not really 2 lanes, but they're still 2-lane, but they're main highways that people do like to fly on. And it is currently 1 o'clock, so I don't have to worry about people trying to get home from work. But yeah, a little nerve-wracking on this one. I've hauled some sketchy shit before, and this one is definitely this one's up there. I do have to say I'm a little nervous on this one. But big shout out to the guys. I talked to them for a little while while I was down there. Super cool fellas that were doing the estate sale and helping load. So thank God they had a skid steer, because I would have probably spent 2.5, 3 hours trying to freaking come along winch that thing up there. That would have been a nightmare. So really glad I had a skid steer, because then they could just lift the rear end, push it on up there, and set it down where it is now. Unloading it's probably going to be a little bit it's going to be a little sketchy as well. We may just unload it in the backyard because there's less things for it to run into back there. But the guys did tell me that they poured some gas down the throat, and it fired. They said it sounded really good and healthy. The fuel line is disconnected from the fuel pump to the carburetor. It is a carbureted. It's, like I said, small block, it's 350. But it doesn't have fuel feeding to it. While I was underneath it strapping it down, definitely could smell the varnish gas kicking around. It was pretty ripe. So may get to the house, do a little cleanup on this guy, try to make it, to where it doesn't feel so just and grimy. God knows how long it's been sitting out in this field. But try to get it cleaned up a little bit, and then I'll see if I can't hunt down a decent little bottle to run it off of, and hook up to the fuel pump. But hook up to the fuel pump on a little temporary tank basically, and see if we can't get this thing running and driving. At least put it around the backyard a little bit, see what it does. So anyways, all right, I'm yapping on way too much on this one, so I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to start the fun-filled ride home, and it's going to be butt clenching time, I'll tell you that much. I really just need to buy a damn trailer. So anyways, all right, I'll catch up with y'all when I get back to the house, and we will start with the fun of unloading this thing, because that's going to be terrible. So all right, we'll catch up with y'all then. All right, so I'm home. Wind's kicking up a little bit, so I apologize if the audio is a little jacked up, but made it home. Truck's still on the trailer. Yeah, you can see that was little on the sketchy side. She didn't like going more than about 55, 54 mile an hour, and it started wagging pretty good. So the fun part is going to be getting this guy off the trailer. It was easy enough to get it on the trailer with a skid steer. I don't have one. So so I think what I'm going to do is get the ramps out. Get the ramps pulled out, and I'll probably get a chain and my engine hoist and lift up the ass end of this truck and get it up off the ground, or off the outside edge of the trailer, and then loosen up the straps up front. I've got a come along attached to it, so I should be able to get it to walk back and use the come along to keep it from running away from me. And then once I get it off the trailer and rolled into a temporary spot right here, then we can dive a little deeper into it and kind of see what's going on with it. Try to go ahead and go through and demouse it if it's got mice. I saw a ton of mice up at that house, little field mice everywhere. So I would not be surprised to find that we have mice in this thing, which is really disappointing, because around this time every year I get mice in the house and I just got them all gone. So hopefully I don't end up with more. That's all right, the traps are still out. So all right, so I'll set the camera up somewhere, and we'll work on getting this guy off the trailer. So I'll be back in just a few. All right, different strategy rather than using the I'm out of shape. Different strategy rather than using the engine hoist to lift the rear up. I'm gonna use the rear to kind of assist me on getting down the ramp, at least initially. So you can see I'm past the center on this side, and I am just past the center on this side. So we're on a downhill swing. So what I'm doing is I got my come along hooked up right here, and that's going over to the cross member, the main cross member, not this little guy. You don't want to hook on that little guy. It'll bend that thing like a banana. So what you run into on these U-Haul trailers is you got this bar that runs across right here that always holds up your front wheels, and that's a pain in the ass to get over. So using the rear to give me the pull, that way I can control it using this come along. So since we're pretty much at that point, I can just, yeah. So now we're on the weight of the come along. What we'll do once I run out of come along cable, because you know these things don't have a whole lot of cable on them, 6-8 feet, something like that. Once we run out of come along cable, I'll chalk everything up, hopefully, and crank it forward, hook it to a chain to keep it from rolling, loosen it up, and then, you know, carry on. So here we go. Let's get another. Oh yeah. It's slow and horribly boring, but this is a hell of a lot safer than what I was originally going to do. All right, she's equalized for the most part. And it's probably still going to wander back a little bit. Looks like my inner rear tire on the passenger side is low, like insanely low. Oh yeah, that tire's pretty well shot. We'll help her along a little bit. All right. Yeah, we're down to one round of cable left, so I'm gonna stop it there. Down to about one round of cable left around the drum of the winch. We're halfway down the ramp. Cue Bon Jovi, halfway there. But let's see. I may have to turn the wheel a little bit. It looks like I'm trying to get. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the wheel a little bit. Passenger side's a little tight. We actually ripped a few, well, that tire's plumb flat. To be honest, I could probably just turn it loose. Let's see. That tire, yeah, that's flat as a pancake. That one ain't doing much better. So, to be honest, I could probably just roll this thing off. Once it hits this outside tire, it'll want to roll a little bit, but you know, yeah, we'll see. It's just kind of feeling it as we go. All right, catching my breath for a moment, and then we'll be right back. Yeah, I'm gonna keep on being a little extra safe since it's just me here. So hook the chain around, lower control arm. I'm gonna take it, bring it back here, find something, probably just loop it around this cross member here. So it's not taking a whole lot of weight to stop this guy, so we'll just loop it around this cross member. That'll keep me good and tight. But then I'll pull it back forward a little bit and then reset my winch with a chain, so that way I can let it down a little bit easy, so I don't have to worry about taking out the shop. So yeah, don't want to do that. All right, I'll be back. All right, back tires are off the trailer. They're actually touching the ground now, so off the ramps. So I've lost my momentum, so to speak. So now it's, you know, pushing however heavy this truck is. I don't know what the curb weight on this thing is. It's heavy, I know that. It definitely ain't as heavy as Big John is, but she got some weight. Let's see what it says here. We'll just call it like 6,000 pounds. That works for me. Around about 6,000 pounds. It's a heavy truck. Got a little weight to her. So, oh, goodies in the bed. I did notice this earlier, but I didn't do anything with it. A lot of just crap. Some exhaust that doesn't go to this truck, or maybe it does. I don't know. There is some exhaust on this guy, some fresh-ish mufflers and fresh-ish exhaust. But there's the air cleaner, because there is no air cleaner under the hood. So I guess I took it off whenever they were trying to get it to start. So, all right. So now what I can do, maybe, is put it in gear and drive out from underneath it. It's still sketchy. But rear tires are on the ground, so I can put it in gear. They're not going to go anywhere, and just roll the front tires out from underneath it, and I should be able to do that with the daily there. Should be able to pull it on out. So we may give that a shot. I'll unhook all the safety chains and everything, and just see about rolling this thing out from underneath it. So it'll probably scar up my driveway a little bit, but that'll be all right. Something has angered the neighbor's dogs. So, all right, I guess that's about all I can do. So it'll either be really cool because it worked, or really cool because it failed miserably. So we'll catch back up with you here in a minute. Worked out all right. Fantastic. Now just to get everything moved around. All right, so this thing's been sitting here cooking for, I don't know, a good 10-15 minutes. Put it on start instead of charge, you know, get all the amps thrown in there. So we'll see if it's done anything. I'm not very optimistic on this. So we'll come over here, throw a little gas down the yap. Probably way too much, but you know, we ain't taking chances on this one. So we'll set that there, so that way that don't dump out everywhere. And let's see what she do. There's a slide across all the mouse poop in here. All right, let's see if it does anything. Nope. Nope. Nothing. All right, well, God dog. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna do on that tonight. So, I guess tomorrow I'll go and pick up a battery and hook a good battery up to this guy, and we'll deal with this tomorrow. But tonight, since I'm out here and it's dark and you can't really see anything, I'll do the boring stuff, like running the vacuum and trying to vacuum some of this crap out of it. So So I'm gonna do that, vacuum the inside, and I'll probably I've already pulled a lot of stuff out of the bed. It's mostly stacked up right over here, but I'll probably go through here and scoop a bunch of this crap out, try to clean the bed out a little bit, and vacuum out, not all the interior, but probably vacuum out a good bit of it. Try to get the mousiest stuff taken care of. So, all right, I guess till the morning. Well, good morning, folks. So last night stayed out here till it got, you know, pretty chilly. I don't know, 40s, something like that. It was dark, so I ended up vacuuming out the inside of the cab, vacuumed all the mouse crap and leaves and everything off of the intake, so that if it does run like they say it does, then you know, we're not smelling burnt stuff. So this morning I've gotten back out here and continued vacuuming and cleaning up, and ended up pulling the seat. So because there was stuff underneath it, and you kind of see there was definitely some activity right around in this area where it's nice and dark. I'm guessing there was a mouse. There may have even been a rat in here at one time, because there's some pretty big poop. Haven't seen any fresh stuff, you know, fresh poop or anything like that, but I did pull the seat all the way out, vacuumed up underneath it, and right in here there was some of that jute pad. It was just soaked with urine. You can kind of see how it's discolored in here. That's just where, you know, that's just where they did their business. So I did go through, got some odd and end pieces and parts. So I got a couple front wheel simulators, which simulators look okay. This one I destroyed the cap when I was loading it because I wasn't paying attention, and ran it into the fender on the trailer. Got a tire tool, which that's nice. Vent window, which I already knew about this guy. Found this up underneath the seat, the original owner's manual. So it's in pretty good shape. Maybe a few little stains here and there, but that's in pretty good shape. I'm guessing a trans cooler, maybe. I don't know. It's a cooler of some sort. It was just sitting in there. A couple of rings to I guess I forget exactly what you call these guys, but they're for helping to center and locate the front wheels, or the wheels. And then the glove box, which is full of all sorts of lug nuts and odd and end pieces. So not a lot of really cool stuff I found. I did find one little realistic, you know, good old Radio Shack speaker that was sitting behind the back seat, or sitting behind the seat. Found that guy, but there's no tag on it, and nobody could tell me last time it was registered or anything like that. So don't know how long this thing's been off the road. Judging by, you know, the amount of everything on it, I'd say, you know, 5-6 years maybe. But I did find, and I don't want to show the guy's name because, you know, I don't know the legalities of all that stuff, but let's see, last registered that I could find was in 2014. So and it was registered down in Alabama, down in Madison, Alabama. So so that's the last registration I could find on it. It was registered in July of 13, and the tags expired in 14. So I'm guessing maybe it's been sitting since 14. I mean, you know, sitting where it was at the old man's house that it was at. So he had like 15 vehicles, and there was like just a ton of parts and a couple little barns and all this other stuff. And you know, so it didn't have a lot of trees. There were trees by, you know, nearby, but there wasn't a ton. So I'm guessing this thing's probably 2016 or 14, maybe 15, you know, 8 years. Sure, I could go with 8 years. That sounds about right, maybe. But a lot of inner tubes were in the bed of the truck, pieces of exhaust, the spare, which is flat, but at least it's a spare wheel. But yeah, a lot of inner tubes, and some really nasty shirts. And then I haven't cleaned up back here yet, but there's a lot of leaves and bits of wood and plastic and just, you know, trash, just kind of all over the place back here. So I'm gonna clean all this stuff up here in just a few. I'm pretty well done on the inside for now. Oh yeah, I did find out that it had a dash cover, because I was like, man, that dash is not cracked or anything. I was kind of shocked. So while I was cleaning and moving stuff around, I accidentally knocked this guy off and broke that end. But yeah, so it had a dash cover on it that looked pretty good. I mean, it lined up pretty well, had me fooled. But they attached it with hot glue. So yeah, that's what the dash looks like now. I don't know if I'll be able to clean that up, but either way, I'll do something with it, you know, either clean this dash up or just buy another dash for it. Like I said, I'm not a big not a big fan of red interiors. I don't like it, especially maroon. I'll probably end up changing the color on this interior. If I keep this truck, I'll probably end up changing the color on it to something other than red. Ugh. But that's way on down the road if I decide to keep the truck. So right now I'm just going to keep cleaning on it and try to get this thing cleaned up a little bit better. Interior is pretty well, you know, vacuumed up. I got to take this door panel off, which shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's just a few screws really. Get the window crank down. Get this door panel off so I get down in there at the vacuum to suck up all this glass that keeps falling out every time I close the door. So little bits of glass all over the driveway now. But I tried rolling the passenger door down, and it's either the door's full of mouse house, possibly, or it just really needs a good greasing on the regulator and everything. So it did not want to go down very easy. So I mean, right there, I'm scared I'm gonna break something once I get to about that point. There we go. So it's either jammed full of stuff, or like I said, it just needs a really good greasing. So may pull that panel off too and do that. So I'm going to keep working on that for just a little bit. I got to run to the parts house and pick up a battery because this battery won't take a charge. So I'm going to have to pick up a new battery, put a battery in it, and then maybe we can see if we can't get it to fire. And if we can get it to fire, maybe see if it won't move. If we can get it to run, you know, and stay running for a little bit, then we'll see about you know, brakes and steering and all that stuff, and see if it's something that's going to take a lot of work or a little bit of work to get it on the road. So it definitely needs tires. These tires are shot. So yeah, there's a lot going on here, but we'll try and get her all sorted out as best we can. So all right, well, I'm gonna get back to interior stuff, just trying to get the mouse houses and crap out of the way, just so I, you know, minimize that risk of getting mice back in the house. So I want to get that done. I may break out the pressure washer and pressure wash the seat, pull the carpet, and pressure wash the carpet too. I don't know exactly what I want to do today, but I figure it's a nice day. I can do some stuff outside. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice as well, so I may stretch this on into tomorrow and try to get some stuff done tomorrow as well. So we'll see. That's what I'm telling you. We'll see. So yeah, right now I'm gonna get back in here. I'm gonna pull these door panels. I'm not gonna worry about filming all that, just because it's kind of boring. It's just, you know, pulling screws out and vacuuming doors out. So I'm gonna pull these panels, vacuum out the doors, get that part cleaned up, and then I'll be happy enough with the interior to stop and maybe go get a battery and see if we can't get this thing to fire up and run. So all right, I'm gonna get to it. I'll be right back. All right, battery's hooked. Not seeing any smoke. That's a good thing. Check on the inside. Not smelling any. Still no smoke or anything. All right, well, let's throw a little down the app and see what we get. That started a little too easy. All right, let me Let me see if I can't figure out a fuel source for this thing, since we know the tank's shot. That way I ain't got to sit here and try to bottle feed this thing. All right, well, I got my neighbor Mike over here, and he's gonna help me out with firing this guy. And we'll see if we can't bottle feed it and let her go. All right, see if we can't fire it. Well, I'd say she's a runner. So, all right, now we're gonna figure out some sort of fuel situation to be able to, see if it'll actually drive. So, while I figure that out, I'm gonna shut the camera off and I'll be back. Here's what we got: gas tank with gas. I got this Holly Red that's been that we used to be on Steve, and that pump is really noisy, but it still works. So we're gonna use it. I already got it hooked up to a ground. I've got my hot lead here, and then I just grabbed my test light with the little clip on it so I can clip it on. And I've already got it primed, so it already primed up easy. I didn't see gas pouring out anywhere, so I'm guessing the floats are still okay on that guy. I don't have a stuck float or trash in the needle or seat or whatever. So yeah, we'll give this a go. Let me hook her up here. Figure out the best way to hook it up here. All right. I couldn't tell what that was. I was like, is that the choke or is it the... Yeah. Hang on. I'm gonna bump that back up. Come out another half turn. And go ahead. Go ahead. All right, so Lil John is a runner. Yeah.
Yeah!
Sorry, can't resist. It's fantastic. So running good. Definitely need some tuning done to it, but yeah, I mean, with the carburetor, we don't really know much about. I know the accelerator pump's gone. It's actually pushing gas out of the accelerator pump, so we know that's gone. It's what is a 1405, so it's the 600 CFM with the manual choke. The manual choke pieces and parts are gone. So when it died earlier, that was me fiddling with the choke, and I basically just slammed it open and it went died. So got it back up and running now. Adjusted the fuels going, you know, the idle circuit, adjusted that a little bit, tweaked the idle a little bit, and got it to where it's idling pretty good. And yeah, it's definitely gonna have, it's got a cam in it. I don't know anything about it, but it's definitely got a cam in it. I did notice that we were popping a little smoke out here on the breather. Of course, you can see, you know, all the grease and grime that has come out of the breather filter. So you know, probably ought to check the timing and do all that stuff, but we let it run, and it got pretty good and hot. It's cooling down. It's still not, you know, cooled down good, but let it get good and hot. Try to get the rings to, you know, loosen up and, you know, really start running good. So I guess what we'll probably end up doing is for the motor side of it, I've got a 600 CFM. I got a 1406 Edelbrock sitting in there on the shelf. I'll probably just take and slap that on here, because I ain't got to worry about it. I can just boom, drop it right on there. I know it's a good carb, doesn't have any problems with it. So I can slap that guy on here and get a fresh carb on it. We still got to figure out fuel delivery. You know, this works good as a temporary setup. You know, this works fine, but I got a fuel pump down here that's not doing anything. I did flip the tanks, and nothing is coming out of this little hose here, which probably is a good thing, because that would have shot me right in the face. But I'm guessing maybe that fuel pump's taking a crap and it's down, so it'll probably need a fuel pump. I'll end up going through all this stuff later, but for now, I know I didn't waste my money by buying a truck that doesn't run. So we know it runs. I haven't looked to see, actually, let's do that real quick. Let's look at our clutch master cylinder or reservoir, and yeah, it's dry. So there is no fluid in the clutch. So that'll probably have to be changed. Probably gonna have to bleed it. You know, it's kind of one of those, figure it out as we go, all the little pieces and parts that it needs. I think what I'm going to do, since it's such a nice day out, and we're getting into that time of year where the nice days are going to be few and far between, since we know it's a runner and we know we can start it and run it, I'm probably going to go ahead and get the pressure washer out, pressure wash this guy up underneath the hood, up underneath on the undercarriage and all that other stuff, because I think I'm just going to work on this guy for the next few weeks. I know I should be working on the Blazer, but if I can get this one to where it's running and driving, that'll be so much easier to have than another non-running vehicle. So I think what we'll do is I'll get this guy pressure washed and cleaned up, and then we'll get this guy pulled forward, probably drug forward with another truck, and then we'll get Steve out of the shop and figure out how to get this thing turned around so I can get this up into the shop and get to working on it, figure out what's going on with the brakes, figure out what's going on with the clutch, figure out you know, all the stuff. I'm not going to go full tilt and build this thing. I just want to make it to where it'll drive, where it'll get up and down the road. I'll probably go ahead and, you know, patch up the exhaust, you know, get it patched up to where the exhaust is complete, or complete than open headers. So yeah, so for now it's a runner. We know that it sounds pretty good. It's definitely going to need an oil change, probably plugs, wires, you know, the whole shebang. So I'll go through and do all that stuff, but that'll be at a later date, just not this weekend. This weekend's going to be cleaning it up and getting it ready to go inside the house, or not the house, but inside the shop, and that way I can work on it and try to get it on the road. So yeah, So I'm gonna get to pressure washing on this thing, or actually first I gotta get everything kind of picked up and cleaned up. And once I get that done, then I'll go to pressure washing on this guy. And I will check in with y'all after I get done pressure washing and cleaning this thing and do a quick little walk around, see if it looks any better. I mean, it's probably not gonna look much better. It's not got a whole lot of mold and mildew and crap on it. It's just kind of dirty. So yeah, it'll probably be about the same, just a little bit cleaner. But I'll definitely get like up in here and then definitely here in the engine compartment. Get this all cleaned up to where I don't end up, you know, with my hands just, you know, black with oil and grease and grime and all that crap every single time I think about looking up underneath this hood. So, so yeah, I guess that's what I want to do. So I will, I'll catch up with y'all after I get some cleaning done on this guy. Well, after, that was a couple 3 hours pressure washing, scrubbing, cleaning, and doing. Came out pretty good. You know, the paint's not the best, so we've got clear coat peeling up and all this, so it's not the best. You know, there's spots here that just didn't want to scrub up, so some of this stuff will come out, you know, whenever I go to polishing on it, if I go to polishing on it. Don't know if that'll happen or not. I mean, the paint's kind of crap anyway, so you know, this it's a mess. So pressure washed, scrub-a-dubbed, and got the engine bay cleaned up. I can actually, I guess, pop the hood and show that one. Got that cleaned up real good. Got the seat cleaned up, kinda. That's yeah, I don't know what's going on with this guy. It's kind of chalky and gross. So just say screw it and just order a new seat cover for it. Like I said, not a big fan of maroon, not a big fan of red interiors. So, you know, dump that off, whatever. Maybe change the color up, do something a little different. So got under here, cleaned up. Of course, you know, they sprayed the firewall and everything black. Didn't scuff or prime or anything, so that's all flaking off. Yeah, motor cleaned up pretty good. Got a lot of the crap that was down there cleaned up. You know, it's not, you know, I may have missed a spot, but it's not great by any means, but it's definitely cleaner than it was, which is a big plus. Let's see, what else did we do? The last time I had it running, I checked Hydro Boost to see if I had any steering, any brakes. That's a big negative on both. So doesn't have any steering or brakes, so I have to figure that out. I did pull the dipstick on the Hydro Boost pump and it's bone dry, so there's probably a leak, plus all the gunk and grime that I sprayed off of the steering box and the frame and the power and the Hydro Boost pump and that whole general area. There was a lot of stuff there, so I'm sure something there's leaking, so I have to figure that out. But you know, like I said, not in a huge rush. I don't honestly know exactly what I'm going to do with this truck. Since it does run, I mean, I'm kind of tickled about that, so maybe I'll turn into kind of a put around town, you know, type thing. Drive it to and from work or something. We'll see. So there's still there's a lot to dive into on this guy. I was trying to move it around yesterday and it felt like this brake's locked up. It's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably a collapsed brake line, since they all do that. I mean, I guarantee you that thing's probably never been changed. This truck, I looked yesterday and it says like 17,000 on the odometer, so I'm guessing it's 117,000. If it's 117,000, it's kind of a rough 117,000. This truck has lived. So I did get back here and clean up the bed and sprayed it out. This bed is pretty beat. That's kind of a homemade fifth wheel plate. It's got, you know, big old fat welds all over it. Of course, I weld a little horseshoe on there right there. Yeah, cleaned the bed out, got it from being so just bleh. And I will say, the mud that came out of that bed and off the roof that was caked on the roof of this truck, that stuff smelled horrible. So it must have been some really good rich dirt. So anyways, but yeah, so I'm calling it a day. I've been out here since 10ish, I think, and it's like 6:30. The only time I stopped was to go get a battery. So I am plum tuckered. So I think we'll call it a night. My idea for tomorrow is playing some vehicular Tetris and moving stuff around and try to get Steve out of the shop so I can get this guy in the shop. Maybe we'll find out if the clutch works. Like I said, I know the master cylinder up here, the reservoir is empty or damn near empty. So we'll check on that and see if it won't take a gear, and maybe I can pull it around. Maybe I can drive it around a little bit and get it into the shop instead of trying to figure out a way to push it into the shop. So I really don't have a good push vehicle for that. So anyways, all right, that's enough. I'm gonna call it a night. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Well, good morning and salutations. So back out here with Lil John. Yeah. It doesn't get old. So kind of getting prepped up and ready to maybe fire this guy up, set up a little temp fuel system for it. But need to check, see if we have brake fluid. We already know that we don't have any fluid over here in the clutch. I'll dump some down in there and hopefully it doesn't just run out. And then we'll throw a little power steering fluid down here for the Hydro Boost pump and see if that does anything. Again, hopefully it doesn't just run out. So we can go over here. Let's get that popped open and take a look. And yeah. So it might have brakes, or at least the front brakes. It might not. We'll find out. So we'll put a little brake fluid in it, maybe. Definitely top that guy up and top that guy up, and we'll find out if they hold fluid or if it just runs back out. So I'm gonna do that, and then I gotta find a jug of some sort to use for as a temporary fuel tank. You know, maybe like a gallon or something like that. I can put some gas in it and maybe run it around. So I'm gonna do all that real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, well, I got her fired back up. A little loud, but not bad. Don't mind that squealing. It's that's the alternator, I hope. So come to find out that there's something going on with the clutch / transmission. I tried firing it over earlier, and the whole back end of the motor started hopping around without having the clutch pressed in. So pressed the clutch in, got it started, let out the clutch, and it starts hopping around again. It's almost as if the clutch is either falling loose or something. I don't know. There's something going on there. But even with it running, I still have no power steering. I got no brake. Clutch is working just fine. So, or, you know, the hydraulic side of the clutch is working just fine. But yeah, I got no brake, no steering. So that tells me Hydro Boost is either not getting pressure, so the pump's either shot, or the Hydro Boost unit itself is shot, which really, it could go either way. Not anything I'm going to sort out today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do what I was hoping to do, which was idle this thing up and, you know, get it turned around in the yard and move stuff around to be able to fit it on into the shop. Not going to be able to do that today. But I did rig up a really nice little fuel tank. I actually have that mounted up. I've got the power fed to the headlight switch. So it's got a gas tank now. But yeah, there'll be definitely more coming on this truck. I'll probably I'm gonna figure out a way to get into the shop if it, you know, basically requires me getting an old tire and pushing it in with one of the other trucks. We'll do that if need be, but we'll figure out one way to get into the shop and you know, tear into it and see what's going on with the brakes and the steering and the trans and the clutch and all that fun stuff. So Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Don't worry, plenty more Lil Jon
Yeah!
content coming up. I'm telling y'all, it ain't gonna get old to me. I think it's hilarious. But if y'all got any questions, comments, or anything like that, drop it down below. I do read them all. It might take me a few minutes or a couple days or a week to get back to commenting, replying, but I do try to reply to all of them. If you don't follow me on social media, I've got Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Those are the big ones that I generally do stuff on. There's a Twitter, but I never use it, so don't even worry about that one. But all that information's down below in the description. But if you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, what's wrong with you? No, seriously though, if you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, just hit the little subscribe button down there at the bottom. That helps to grow the channel, and we'll definitely do a lot more Lil Jon coverage coming up over the next couple weeks. So just remember, folks, it ain't got to be perfect, just good enough. And we'll see y'all later.
Okay!